Hi everyone, my name is Janae Valenzuela. I am a sixth grade teacher at Highland Elementary in Visalia Unified School District, and I just finished up my fourth year teaching sixth grade. So I chose about four different photos for the photo voice. They all have similar but different meanings behind them. Two of them I feel like are more important than the other two. So I'll just go ahead and get into them. The first photo I decided to choose was the Highland Huskies classroom expectation matrix. Um, you may look at it and think, oh, it's just another classroom expectation sign, but in reality, when you dig deeper, it's not. Um, Yes, I took a picture of a classroom expectation sign, but we have those same exact signs all over our school. Um, One of the first things I noticed is the signs are all in English. So I work at a Title I school, which means most of my students um, not only come from a low socioeconomic area, but they are predominantly Spanish speaking at home. I get a lot of newcomer students, which means these students are going to come into school seeing these signs and not understand what any of it means. Not only that, by only having English signs, we are telling students that their language doesn't matter. Their language is not valued at our school. That's not my only issue with the classroom expectation poster, though. My other issue is we are expecting students to conform to whatever expectations we are setting. Um, I know most schools, most districts have the same expectations. So obviously, we as a school did not make them, but who made them? Was it the dominant group? The issue with that, I believe, is not all cultures, not not all cultures have the same expectations for their children at home or in their country. So we are expecting students to assimilate to our expectations, to what we say. Um, we're kind of just in a way we're forcing them to. So we're wiping away any norms or expectations that they grew up knowing. My second photo I want to get into is the testing do not disturb sign. So I chose this sign for two reasons. One of them has to do with ALPAC. So ALPAC is the English Language Proficiency Assessment, which students who are not English proficient have to take every year. Once they hit sixth grade, the test from third to fifth grade is always the same. It never changes. Once they hit sixth grade, the test changes and it gets harder. I myself had tried to take it, and the way it reads to my students, or it will talk and tell my students a story, the test, it goes fast. You cannot pause it. You cannot hear it again. So you have to memorize or write down, be quick enough to write down everything that the test is telling you in order to answer the questions. Again, our school gets a lot of newcomers. We have a lot of students who speak predominantly Spanish at home. So they not only have to listen to someone talking in English and answer those questions, they have to speak in English. They have to write in English. If they do not pass this test, They go into middle school and they are not allowed to have an elective. They have to take an extra ELA class. Um, Not just that, we have to pull our EL students separately from the rest of the class during a separate time to do small groups to work on these strategies to pass this test and to practice for the test. In a way that kind of reminded me of segregation. Um, because again, not everyone has to take the test, only if you are not English proficient. So if you're not, when testing season comes, you have to go to a whole other classroom while the rest of your class gets to stay in our classroom and do whatever. So again, it just all of it reminds me of segregation. It reminds me of um yeah, um language exclusion. I also chose this the testing do not disturb sign because of the California assessment. The California state assessment is in English only. Again, I have a lot of newcomers, a lot of students who speak mainly Spanish, and they have to do a lot of reading and writing in English. If they cannot read and write in English, they fail this test, which I feel is very discouraging for them. Um, Again, that's another form of language exclusion. So, the last thing I decided to share was the two flyers for sixth grade lunch. At the end of the year, every year, we have a sixth grade lunch. Um, I didn't write about this little piece, but I really wanted to. So, our school does not have a PTA. We do not have parents that are well off. Which majority of our schools in our district, or I feel not, maybe not majority, maybe at least half of the schools in our district, have almost all schools have PTAs, and majority or half of the schools have families with a little bit of a higher income than our school. Um, so parents are able to donate. Well, we had to make flyers and I made flyers in English and in Spanish um, for parents so they can, feel as they are a part of the community because they are. Um, so we had to ask for donations because our school does not have enough money towards the end of the school year to provide more than pizza. So we had to ask for donations for snacks, drinks, which a lot of our families do struggle with donating. Um, but the reason I added those two flyers is because I do believe we are challenging those historical practices where we're not trying to exclude language anymore. Um, Anytime I post on Classroom Dojo, I send a notice in English and in Spanish, even though I myself am not Spanish speaking. Yes, I am. I have family who has come from Mexico, but I was never taught Spanish. So I will have some like an app translate for me, and then I will show it to my partner teacher and ask her, hey, does this make sense? Does it need to be changed? And I will post on Dojo. Um, our principal has also become, sorry. Our principal has also tried her best to post information on Class Dojo in both English and Spanish as well. She makes a lot of flyers in both languages. Um, so yeah, thank you.